What's up back again, Real Man TV family? As you already know, it's your host, Mike and Mike. Well, it's Michael. I don't want to use that Mike and Mike no more. It's your host, Michael, and it's a controversial topic today. So, y'all stay tuned and stay cool. But before we get started, please kindly subscribe below and hit the bell button so you don't miss any of this new talk shows I'm going to be doing about Nigeria and the US and every part of the world that I travel to. So stay tuned, stay cool, stay blessed. I'll see you on the flip side. All right, boom. So first on the list is the cost of living. I know this doesn't pertain to, the insecurities of the country, but this is very important because if you're coming home, you have to eat, you have to, move around, you have to do so many things. So for the cost of living, I'm going to start with the rent. It all depends on the area. Nigeria, to me, is divided into two parts. It's either you're on the rich side or you're on the other side, if you know what I mean. So there is no middle class. I figured it's more upper class or lower class. So being a lower class, there is a certain level of, expenses that you incur. And then being in the upper class, it's also different as well. So, for example, in Lagos, which is where I stay, we have people on the mainland and then we have people on the island. This is two different areas. The mainland is less expensive and the island is more expensive. So living on the mainland, for example, you can rent a place for like 300,000, 400,000. My dad do have a few properties here on the mainland. And the average rent is usually about, he's a little deeper in. So his rent is usually between 200 and 400,000 a year. So it's very different compared to the US. On the island, it's more expensive. It's usually $1 million to, 20 million, depending on how much you want to rent. And 200,000 in US, it's about $250 for the whole year. So 400,000 is usually like, $400, $500 for the whole year. But on the mainland, on the island, you get to see it at the rate of, I don't know, between $1,000 a year to $4,000 or $5,000 a year in rental income. So it's not as crazy as it is in the US. In the US, average mortgage is about $1,500 to $2,000. So compared to, mortgages monthly, and even average rent is usually between $1,000 in Texas, between $1,000 and $1,500 on average, depending on the location and where you stay. So second thing on my list here, and mind you, we're going to number 10, but second thing on my list, number 10 is the most important part as well. So stick to the end. Number 2 on the list here, like I said earlier, is employment rates and unemployment rates. In Nigeria, I'll say a lot of people do not work. Most people do little businesses here and there. Currently, the unemployment rate stands at 82%. So 82% of Nigerians have no work, which is very, very, very bad and very crazy to me. Because I see a lot of people just wake up in the morning and they're just hanging out, looking for what to do, what to eat. That's why the labor charge here is very cheap, because there are no work. So if companies like China, companies like, companies in China, companies in the US decides to, open up some big companies here, there's a lot of people that will be able to work. I'll say 10% of the cost they will pay someone in the US, 10%. So if you have to pay someone $50,000 in the US for the whole year, you can pay someone here in Nigeria $5,000 and they'll happily take it for the whole year, not per month, a year. So that's one thing that I've noticed as well in the US currently. Yes, so unemployment rate in the US is around 4%, which is not bad compared to Nigeria, in fact. So that's a very big gap. I think the government is to do more partnerships and let other companies, other countries come in and invest in Nigeria to create more jobs and more opportunities for people. That's why everything is a lot, cheaper and not as effective as it's supposed to be, because everybody wants to survive, but there is no job. So that's one thing I'll say the US is better at. they have jobs, but then you do have to apply, and there's a lot of different things. But at least there are jobs. You have something to do every day. But here I see a lot of people on the streets. I drive by, I walk by, I see everybody everywhere, and no jobs, which is pretty bad. So in terms of unemployment and employment opportunities, I'll say the U.S. there are more jobs, and then there are less jobs in Nigeria. So 11% to 82% is pretty bad. But another thing as well, the jobs in the U.S. you pay so many bills, which we will get to. So number 3 on the list here is poverty rate. Like I said earlier, the difference between Nigeria and the U.S. it's big. That's why Nigeria is called a third world country. U.S. is still a first world country, I believe it should be. But the poverty rate is very, very, very bad here in Nigeria as well. It stands right now at 40%, which in the U.S. 11%. So a lot of people, because there are job opportunities in the US, but in Nigeria there are not much. And I believe if there are more jobs here, Nigerians are very hardworking people. They always say if you can make it out of Nigeria, you can make it anywhere in the world. And that is very true. And I'm an example of it. I have been in Nigeria, lived in Nigeria. I grew up in Nigeria. I went to the US, lived in the US, basically did all my, youth age in the US, and I know the ins and outs of everything there. So, but Nigeria is very, the poverty rate is really high, and usually it's mostly because of the issue with the government and politics and greed in the country, and not just greed in the country. Yeah, greed and the way the economy is set up, it's very difficult. And even right now with the new government in, I think he has a plan. President Tinubu, I think he has a plan. Because to get a good part of anything, you have to go through the difficult part of it. So I think the hard time now is what it is that a lot of people are complaining about. But I think the government has a strategic plan because according to what I've heard so far from him, from the news, it's, it sounds a little promising. It sounds a little promising than the other government that just do the fake it till you make it thing. But yeah, so in terms of the poverty rates, that needs to improve. 40% is really high, really, really high. The US stands at 11%. So on that case, I think on this part, I'd say the US poverty rate is still lower. And 11% is still pretty high compared to the population of the country. Nigeria, it's about 100 and something million people. US have about 200 something million people. So at the end of the day, it's still somewhat close. So US need to do a little work too, because there's a lot of videos out there showing the people on the streets and for example, in Los Angeles, it's crazy out there. There's a lot of people on the streets that can't afford the rent. They can't afford to live anywhere. So that's one of the major things there. So, but Nigeria, I think Nigeria is going to get better. But for now, on the poverty rates, I'm on the US side. 11% is pretty low. So this one is an interesting topic. Well, not really interesting, but at the end of the day, you will understand why I say it's interesting. So right now, the currency conversion rate is the number 4 on my list, right? So the currency in Nigeria is called Naira, and the currency in the US, everybody knows it's the US dollars. So right now, Nigerian currency, converting a dollar of the US currency to Nigerian currency is at 1650. So $1 US will give you 1,650 Naira. So if you have $10, then you automatically get about 16,000 of Nigerian money. Naira, sorry. If you have 1,000, then you're a millionaire in Nigeria. So if you have $1,000, then you're a millionaire in Nigeria because you have 1.6 million. But mind you, this conversion rate to me doesn't really make any sense because majority of the things you buy is about the same price. Most things are cheaper in terms of labor. So let's say, for example, I take $500 out to the club. Actually, I went to the market recently and I took $450, 450 Naira, which is about $300 to the market. And I was able to buy a lot of stuff. I even bought a whole RAM, and the video is right here if you want to check it out. You can see exactly what I bought with $300. The cost of things are relatively, well, very, very cheap compared to the US. For example, if I want to go get a RAM in the US, it would cost me at least $400-500. But here in Nigeria, it would only cost me about $120. So those are the two different major things. I mean, to the people living in Nigeria that are not, getting paid in US dollars, it is very, very expensive. The minimum wage right now in Nigeria is 70,000. That hasn't come into effect, but as of last month, it was 30,000. It's been 30,000 for years. It was $20. But now it just got bumped to about $40, $45. So that's two different things. So in terms of the conversion rate, it's very, the way the currency is set up is pretty bad, because 1,650 can feed you for a whole day. But at the end of the day, we are still, in terms of the conversion rate, I'm on the US side because the US dollar is pretty strong. So US wins on that one as well. So Nigeria, I think the government has something new. They just opened up the new refinery. So I think there should be a big change coming up very soon. Probably by 2025, we should see a big change in terms of everything new, everything coming up. So that's it for me on number 4. Now let's move to number 5. Yes, number 5 now is gun violence. In the US, not just gun violence, violence in general. In Nigeria, people tend to fight a lot. People argue a lot, but they rarely put hands on each other. It does happen when people get, very frustrated, but you rarely see someone get angry and pull out a gun, which I'll tell you this, I feel a lot safer in Nigeria than in the US. Other than, depending on the location you're at, people might want to steal your stuff and, get some stuff off of you. So Nigerians do get mad. Everybody gets mad, everybody gets angry, but it's rare you seeing someone pull out a gun when they're fighting. They might pick up something off the street and try to hit you with it, but it's rare seeing someone shoot a gun at someone because they're mad at them. But in the US, that is very common, very, very common. I grew up in Boston, where gun is not legal. I have gotten gun pulled on me even in Boston when it wasn't legal. I moved to Texas, which was worse. Texas is worse than Boston because the gun is legal over there. You could go into any gun shop, and buy a gun. And there is a lot of gun violence there. People shoot every day, every day, every hour. It's very unsafe, and there's a lot of mass shooting in the U.S. It's never safe. You go to a supermarket, you go to a grocery store, you go to a game to go watch a game. People are shooting. Here in Nigeria, if you get caught with a gun, automatically you're a thief. Because other than the police officers or the armies, anyone with a gun is a thief. You're stealing things from people by using a gun. So you will definitely get arrested. So that's the two major different things. In terms of violence, I don't like the U.S. I got a gun pulled on me even in Texas, Dallas, Texas. I got a gun pulled on me by a Nigerian. That's how bad it is. Coming out of the club, the guy got upset and he put out a gun. He was going to shoot me. If he had shot me then, I probably wouldn't be here recording this video. That's the crazy thing about the U.S. I could go get a gun and pull out a gun on anybody too, but that never happens here in Nigeria. So in terms of violence, it's very controlled in Nigeria because everyone is scared of the police officers. Well, not really the police officers, but they're scared of the armies. Because if someone does anything stupid, you can go to the police station and get them arrested. It might cost you some money, but at least, justice is served right there. Or you could take them to court. But in the U.S., it's either you're dead before the policeman arrives or whatever it is that's going on over there. Currently in the U.S., it's over 11,000 gun deaths. This year so far, 11,000 gun deaths. That is crazy, and that's a very high number. Just people shooting each other. People trying to be cool, people trying to be crazy, just shooting everybody. Mass shootings. You don't even want to know that. They've had more mass shooting in the U.S. than anywhere in the world. People just wake up in the morning They're depressed, they lonely for whatever reason. They feel like killing other people is a way to help them feel better. In Nigeria currently, it's less than 500 deaths, gun violence in the country because there are no guns. So yeah, in terms of violence, I think I'm on Nigeria's side on this one. I'll stick to Nigeria on that one. Number 6 on the list is a relatively interesting topic. Fake life. In the US, for example, if you want to live a fake life, it will cost you a lot of money to live a fake life. Fake life is not cheap in the US. So if you're going to go to Miami and you want to be cool, you want to drive a Lamborghini, you want to drive a Rolls Royce, that's going to cost you about $500 a day. That's living a fake life. You want to get a yacht, you want to take all these videos on the yacht, you want to do everything. It's going to cost you a lot of money, a lot of bread, which is crazy. But you can show it off, you can get some fake prop money and post videos like, General Tekashi say he did, which I don't believe that story because I think he did have the money. He just didn't, want US to take it from him, from all these cases and stuff. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Fake life in the US can be quite pricey because if you say you have $1 million in cash, you're showing it off, and then you get in trouble for something, and the lawyer is telling you, hey man, this case is gonna cost you $100,000. And then you're saying, oh, I don't got money. Man, what's up with this video? You posted $1 million in cash. That's you shooting yourself in the leg in the US. But in Nigeria, on the island, everybody, I'll say 98% of them live a fake life, from what I've heard, from what I've seen, from what I know. I'll give you an example. People will go to the club, post videos of people's bottles. They're not the one paying for the bottles, but they take videos of them. Like if you see those videos, you'll think they're the one running the tab, but they are not paying those tabs. So it's crazy. People drive all these expensive cars, borrowing the expensive cars from people that own the expensive cars. They take pictures with expensive cars, expensive houses, like they own it and post it up and be like, God did. Man, God didn't. God did not do that. And the funniest thing is I know this might be a controversial one, the skit makers and all these people. There is no jobs in this country. How are you doing skits buying a G-Wagon? A bank manager, which apparently makes a lot of money, the lawyers, they can't afford a G-Wagon. People been in the actual music industry, the actual movie industries cannot afford a G-Wagon. A skit maker on TikTok is driving a G-Wagon, living in a $100,000, $200,000 house. If you convert it to Nigerian money, you know how much that is. I still don't believe that. Well, one of them got caught recently, but I'm not going to get into that. But fake life, if you want to live a fake life the cheapest way, come to Nigeria. You will live the fakest life and you will love every bit of it because it won't cost you anything. It won't cost you as much as it will cost you in the US. So in terms of fake life, I'm on Nigerian side on that one. Now the number 7 on my list is comfortability. If you want to be comfortable, it's going to cost you. In the US, you can be comfortable. You can have a $1 million house, but you'll never be comfortable. You know why? Because you have to go to work 8 hours a day and you spend the nights in that house and you have to wake up mad early. You only get 2 days a week and you get 2 weeks a year. People in the US will understand what I mean. If you only have one job, if you have your own business, you will be spending 10, 15 hours a day out. And the remaining 9, 8, you're spending in a house that you're paying for that you're not living in. If you have 2 jobs, 3 jobs, which you can have in the US, you'll never stay home, but you're paying for the house. So everybody thinks you're not comfortable at all in the US because you're just living, you're working for a living. You're not working, to live. You're working for a living. So that's the problem with the US. I don't feel like it's comfortable at all because you have to work crazy every day to afford those houses. But in most cases, some people do have one job that pays well. And then you do your regulars, which is you go to work, you come back home, you sleep, you wake up, you do it again the next morning. And then you get 2 days off a week, which is ideal. And then you get your 2 weeks off per year vacation time. Talking of vacation time and comfort, a lot of people in the US that I know will work the whole year just to come spend that 2 weeks in Nigeria and they save up a whole year to come spend that 2 weeks in Nigeria. And then they show off, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 and just waste it in 2 weeks and then head back home because they have all these bills to pay. That's just how it rolls. That's how it is. I mean, or you can go to another country, not specifically Nigeria. You got to go to a different country. But that 2 weeks out of the year, come to think of it, that is nothing. There is 365 days in 1 year. And you get to use 351 days working, well, except for the 2 days off. That's crazy. In terms of comfortability in Nigeria, if you have money, you are comfortable. Because one, you can get a gate man, you can get a nanny, you can get a maid, you can get a driver, you can get someone to take your bath if you need to. If you're going to pay, it's a job for somebody. You're creating job opportunities. Those are not slaves. They are working and they're getting paid. That's a job opportunity. But you can get everything done for you without you doing anything at a very affordable rate. So in terms of comfort, I'm on Nigeria side on that one. Okay? All right. Number 8 on my list is entertainment, enjoyment, and parties. I don't think any country in the world parties as much as Nigerians do. Here in Nigeria, they have parties on Mondays. You get Tuesdays off. Wednesdays, there's parties. Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays. There is always something to do. If you want to go to the clubs, you can go to the clubs 6 times a week. But now I heard recently they're planning a day for for the Tuesday. I'm sure they probably have somewhere else that you can go to, but there's too much party. So my favorites are usually the Owambes. I love Owambes because everyone dressed so colorful. It's nice, very nice. They get free food. You know what I mean? That's the fun part of it. You get the free food, free drinks. Usually it's someone's wedding or naming ceremony or burial. It could be anything. Nigerians celebrate everything. If your dog dies, well, they don't do that, but they do big celebration when someone dies. And someone that has died that has been dead for 20 years, they can be like, we're doing a remembrance of our great-great-great-great-grandma today. Now let's party. And they buy these cows, they buy all this food, and you get to eat them for free. So you show up to the party, and sometimes you might be walking by a party and be like, ooh, that jollof rice smells good. Let me check it out. That's the thing about Nigeria. That's the fun part of it too. I love it. Owambes are my favorites because we get to eat all the time and eat for free, and everyone dresses up colorfully. That's nice. In the US, clubs are usually on the weekends. So Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, Sundays, certain Sundays, it doesn't really get busy. But on Fridays and Saturdays, it get busy because everybody goes to work. Well, not everybody, but the majority goes to work. So nobody has the time to go do these big parties. They do have them in the US, but the food tastes nothing like the ones in Nigeria. One, the people don't really dress as colorful. And then if you happen to do your birthdays or your parties in the wintertime, ain't nobody going to show up to that party. Ain't nobody trying to get their ass frozen in a pink, bright blue native wear. You see people putting sweaters on and putting their native wears on the sweater. It's weird looking, but that's what they do anyways. But in terms of parties and enjoyment, we got a lot of beaches here in Nigeria. Everybody knows that. Everybody loves to be Nigerian. Everybody low-key want to be Nigerian when it comes to partying. We have the best music, Afro beats, all the great things are in Nigeria. You get to enjoy yourself, and you're on the beach. You can buy a bottle, like a whole bottle. And if I say bottle, you know what I mean. Alcohol bottle, like a bottle of Hennessy, Casamigos, on the beach. And they'll grill you a whole catfish on the beach. You get to go on a horse ride. You get to enjoy life. You get to enjoy. But, like I said in the beginning, enjoyment is not cheap. And if you want to be comfortable, you got to be ready to spend that bar. So all this fun stuff I'm listing, it going to cost you. It going to cost you some big bread. Not big bread, but compared to the U.S., it's very, very affordable. So if you go out, decide, you know what? I want to enjoy myself today with $200. You can't finish that money if you're just going to eat and drink and chill. But other than that, you're probably going to get too crazy drunk, because you can buy a whole bottle for like $50. Buy the fish, buy everything. So in terms of enjoyment and parties and entertainment, there's a ton of shows in Nigeria. So that's the fun part of it. And people just host these things to raise funds, to make some money, and they're always lit. There's beach houses you can even rent for a day. So many things, so many enjoyment to have. But in the US, it's very repetitive. You go to the same club on Fridays, this Friday. You go to the same club next Friday. You go to the same club the Friday after. Maybe you have 5 clubs to rotate around. The thing is, in the US, it takes a lot to have a club. You have to get all this license, the state laws. This is what you can do and what you can't do. In Nigeria, you can open a club anywhere, anytime. You can buy alcohol and set it up in your store, in your club. No license required. You just have to maybe pay some government people taxes and stuff like that. But other than that, if you got money, you can set up anything. And there's a lot of people to do the work too. Like I said, unemployment rate is really high. So if you can set up a company, they'll be happy to have your company in the city, and you just pay a little taxes and hire a bunch of people. Get these people jobs. That's what it is. The labor work is really good and really cheap too. So that's that on the enjoyment. So in terms of enjoyment and parties, I'll take Nigeria over any country, not just the US, any country. And in terms of sleep, wake up, go to work, and party once a week or twice a week, that could be on the US side. But hey, if you want to turn up, come to Nigeria. Capiche? Let's move to the next one. Number 9, second to the last on the list, is, guess what? Guess it. Women. I don't even need to talk much about this, because I'm sure a lot of you guys already know how it is in the world of women. Number 1 thing about the women part is, in the US, it's wild, it's different. You can get a girl, get a one-night stand, party crazy, have fun, do whatever it is you need to do. If she likes you, she likes you for you. If she wants you, she wants you for you. That's what I've always thought it is supposed to be everywhere in the world. But I think that's just a US thing, because everybody works and everybody has a job. Being a man in Nigeria and being a working man in Nigeria, or a man with money in Nigeria, you are someone's job. So in terms of women, what I've heard and what I've seen, if you have money in Nigeria, you can get basically any woman you want. If she's not married to somebody or not with anybody else, even if she has a boyfriend, if you have money, you have her. And it's very similar in other countries as well. I have friends that go to Colombia, that go to Dominican Republic, that go everywhere else in the world that do mention these things. And I'm still going to do a few videos about Nigerian women and how the money thing works. In Nigeria, you can get any woman you want. Woman of your dreams, woman of this, if you have enough funds, if you can afford her. You can have a girlfriend, but at the end of the day, what I notice about Nigerians is a girlfriend expects her boyfriend to cater for her needs in every way. Like, boy, you gotta buy my hair, you gotta do my nails, you gotta pay my rent, you gotta pay my bills, you gotta give me money to give to my parents. You gotta take full responsibility. You gotta pay for everything as a man in this country. And the weird part is this, you go to a club, you see a girl like, oh, this is a beautiful girl. Let me see. Let me make a move. Let me try some games, pitch some games. Boy, you are wasting your time. You are wasting your time because you don't need no games. You could be a dwarf. You could be blind. You can say 0 words. You don't even got to talk. They'll just be like, 200K. 100K. If you're in Nigeria, you understand what I mean. You know what that means? 100K for the night. They will go with you anywhere. And this is not all the girls in the club, but 99% of the girls in the club. 99% of them. You say hi, they be so loving, like they've known you for like 10 years. Oh, hi. Oh, yeah. Blah, blah, blah. 100K. For what? Oh, 100K, I'll go with you. I'll go with you tonight. I'll do blah, blah, blah. 100K? Do you know how much 100K is? It's about $60, $65. I'm like, girl, you crazy. $65? But guess what, too? It's negotiable. That's Nigerian girls. You can be like, nah, girl, 50K. And then she'd be like, okay, give me 60K. It's fucking crazy. It's a business. It's a job. It's wild. You can't spit no games. Because they don't want to hear that shit. If you ain't paying, you ain't having fun. You ain't Excuse my French. You ain't doing nothing if you're not paying. They expect you to pay for everything, not just for the night. And they'll go with you, they stay the night, and then you have fun, and in the morning you pay them and they go, and then you can do that over and over again. You can get the most beautiful girls in the club for like $50. And they will go with you. Guaranteed. But in the US, you gotta play some games. You hope she likes you, and then you wanna take her home, and then she'll be like, oh, hell no, I don't go to people's houses on the first night. You gotta take me on a date first, blah, blah, blah. You get to bypass all that here. Not just in the club. You can be on the streets. You can be on the beach. You can get girls anywhere at a cost. And it's majority of the girls. Majority of them. So in terms of women in Nigeria, most of them are easy access. It's sad, but it's not just Nigeria. It's most countries. I'm sure they are. Prostitution is illegal in the US, but people do stand on the streets and prostitute. They do that here too in Nigeria. But most of them are in the clubs. They are on the beaches and they're in regular places where you'll see regular people, and then you just want to talk to a girl and try to get her number or do whatever, man, she going with you that night. That's how it is here in Nigeria. But compared to the US, you got to work for the girl, and equality, and oh yeah, this, you gotta do this before I'm able to do that. It's just crazy. So yeah, when it comes to women, if you want to have fun with a lot of women, different women every night, it gonna cost you some money, but Nigeria is the place to go. Most of them, it's not prostitution. It's more of a way of living for them. In the US, you can as well, but if you get caught, you're going to jail. So if you want to, have a lot of fun with different women, it is very, 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 very easy here in Nigeria. So in terms of women, and easy gets, easy go, but you ain't going to never be able to get married, Nigeria is the place to go. Capiche? Now let's go to the last one. This number 10, I wouldn't really want to talk much on because it's very controversial, and a lot of people don't like talking about it either. because it's a way of life, and also a lot of people, a lot of you know people in the business of it they don't like people talking about how much, which is the religion part of things. I don't go to church here in Nigeria because I know how it works. And there are a lot of fake pastors. I wouldn't say fake pastors, but there's a lot of business people that are doing the business of running a church. To me, church isn't supposed to be a business. Church is supposed to be a place of worship. But a lot of people do the worshiping, but then you gotta pay at the end of the day. I went to a church one time. I was so excited to go here in Nigeria, and the first thing I heard the pastor said was, some people made some promises to give the church some money, but they have not. If you don't bring the money coming next Sunday, you will not be allowed in the church, which was very strange to me. I was just like, what's up? And I was like, it's my first time here. Let me just chill to see what it is. And then they started mentioning, some people recorded some videos of some people bringing some black magic to the church, and then it went viral online, and now we don't want anybody recording in the church, blah, blah, blah. What is black magic doing in the church? That's two. And then at the end, I was just sitting there, and mind you, I only spent like an hour, 45 minutes in the church. While I was still sitting there with a few of my boys, a lady came with a guy saying, we need some contribution for our choir. We have a contribution thing going on. And I was just like, okay, we're having a celebration, a choir celebration, so we think you guys should donate some money. And I was like, this is my first time in your church, and what you want me to do is donate? And I was like, boys, I'm out of this church. And then we left and we went to a spot to go eat. Which was, we went to eat amala, by the way. It was nice. Food is good in Nigeria. The food. But anyways, back to the religion thing. Even in the US, I go to a church. I like my church. My church, they pass a bucket. And guess what they always say at the church? They say, if you need money, please take out of the basket when it gets passed to you. But if you don't, you can always put more for the next person next to you. And the Lord blesses everybody. That's beautiful. It's a white people church, by the way. And I like it. I go there all the time. Pastor Craig is great. I like my church. It's called Life's Church in the US. And instead of going into churches here, I just watch my church online. Because Nigerian churches, it's business. They want you to pay tithe. I heard about a new pastor recently that's been talking against this stuff. He actually went on the Honey Bunch show. He's actually pretty good. He's pretty good. If his church was in Lagos, I'd be going to his church. I forgot his name. He's a good pastor. He went on the Honey Bunch podcast show. That's just the thing. Majority of the churches here, I wouldn't go. But one thing I notice as well is the Islamic people are the most reserved people. You don't see mosques everywhere. I've probably seen one mosque on this island, a big mosque, since I've been here. One mosque. And in terms of churches, there is at least 4 or 5 churches on each street. You see a whole building, one building with 7 churches on them. What are you preaching? Why can't you guys just combine each other and do your services by yourself and do it all together? Combine the pastors. And what they preach is the good part of the Bible. This life is, everybody has a timestamp. But if it's all about money, no one preaching salvation, then it's not going to work. The religion thing in Nigeria is pretty bad. I think that's one of the major problems here. The government is to regulate the churches, charge them big taxes, because these people, Nigeria is where you see the #1 largest church in the world. A single church You see churches that have universities in the church premises, all in the same 20 acres of land, 1,000 acres of land, whatever they buy. They have a university in there. And the people put in this money together, put in this offerings, put in this tithe, hardworking people. They can't afford these universities. How is that helping the economy? Religion is great. I'm a strong believer in God. I believe in God with all my life. But Nigerian churches, I don't go there. I don't even go to the churches because they lie a lot. They lie till you just pay that money. I'm not discouraging anybody from going to the church, but always listen to the prayers before you pray them. You be praying about, oh Lord, kill my enemy, kill my enemy. Your enemy is next to you in the church. Doing the same prayer. Oh Lord, kill my enemy. If God answers everybody's prayer in Nigeria, everybody will be dead already. Holy Ghost fire, 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 fire. Kill him, kill him. What are you killing? You're killing your next door neighbor? He's next to you. Your enemy is next to you. Your enemy is the one preaching because he just wants your money. But he's praying against you and you're praying against him or her. Man, y'all got to change y'all ways, man. I think the government should cut down the churches. One church per city. One church, one big church, and everybody in the city goes there. You can have 5 pastors, 10 pastors in there. It doesn't matter. Everybody focuses on the government. Oh, yeah, the government is bad. The government is this. Focus on the church. They're capitalizing on your faith. They just want you to put everything you've made into that offering basket. They don't care. They don't want anything else from you. They just want your money. You do a lot of things. You work hard and you just put all your money in that basket. You know, if you pray in the corner of your house, your prayers gets answered quicker. And guess what the pastor was saying? Where 2 or 3 gathers, there I am, says the Lord. No. The Bible said that, but you should read what the Bible said before saying that and read what it says after saying that. Your heart is what God wants to listen to. Go to the corner of your room, shut your door, cut your pastor out, and pray for whatever you want, and you will definitely get it. Definitely get it. Don't let no pastor tell you. People respect their pastor more than they respect God. They respect their pastor more than they respect their husband, their dad, their moms. In Nigeria, they call their pastors daddy. You get home and start calling your husband John, Peter, Joseph, Oluwapelumi, all this bullcrap. You fight your husband because you want to go to church. You go on your knees and pray to your pastor and, oh, he's a man of God. Man, shut up. He ain't no man of God. He just wants your money. But anyways, I hate talking about the religion part of things in Nigeria because it pisses me off. But hey, you only know what you know. That's all I got to say. And that's all I have for y'all. So, kindly subscribe below. It's RilmaenTV. We got more stuff coming. And I have a lot of stuff written down that I need to show y'all. So subscribe below. I'll see you on the flip side. All right. Boom.